So, what did you think of Rogue One?
The first thing I want to say about it is that I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it definitely could have been better. I liked the one prior more, but a lot of people like this one better, I think, because the fact that everyone dies.
Okay, spoiler alert. So,
should I not say that?
no, it's too late.
I mean, everybody's going to be talking about that.
No, of course, everyone. I mean, and I think that. Well, let me put it this way: I enjoyed the movie. I like the other one better too, even though I recognize why some people might not like the other one in terms of because it seemed like an exact duplicate. But in some way, they were trying to introduce a new generation to Star Wars.
That's true.
But
that's true. I mean, it was formulaic.
If you're comparing the two, I mean, it wasn't formulaic. It was like an homage. In a sense, it was formulaic in the sense that it was a big sphere, but it's bigger now.
Yeah.
And it's harder to blow up, but it's still the same sphere. And so in some sense, it's like how many times you're going to do that. But I think it's sort of like that Return of Superman movie where, you have to have some kind of continuity. And
tell me about the Superman movie.
Well, it was the one that didn't do well before the Henry Cavill movie, and people say bad things about Henry Cavill, but in my opinion, he's fabulous. And I think
he's a good actor.
I think both of his superhero movies, of his Superman movies, were, and both. I think all the Superman movies have been fine. It sort of recapitulated the Supermans of generations before for people that were much older, which
I see. Yeah,
is always kind of iffy because in a certain sense you're being derivative. You're not trying to tell any kind of a new story. The new Star Wars did that in a sense, but I thought it told it really well. And the other thing about the new Star Wars where I would agree with you is if you think about the actual acting and the energy and the pacing and the plot and the dialogue and the characters and the actors, they were all much more lively.
In The Force Awakens versus Rogue One.
Right. The thing I like about The Force Awakens is, besides the fact that it's a nice movie, is that everything's on the table. And there's, you can't really have everything on the table when you're talking about the Skywalker family, when you're talking about the Palpatines, when you're talking about the Solos. I mean, you can't. They have to survive.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But so that's the nice thing because we live in a world where every movie, except the really grown-up movies, every movie is a serial. Right. And we know that. I mean, Iron Man can't die, no matter how bad it's going to be.
And I mean, you grew up with Star Wars, not like I did. Mm-hmm. So I'm more of a new generation Star Wars guy, I guess you could say. Although I love Yoda and like practice doing his accent all the time.
Right. Well, right.
So
you do.
Rise I
Yes, exactly. In fact, you actually have a Yoda doll, a little Yoda toy right here. It's about 2 inches on your table. So, but so I mean, I agree with you. But I do think the thing that was nice about the movie as an idea was that you knew that you were unlikely to see any of these people again.
Right. The new one.
It wouldn't necessarily mean that they all had to die.
Yeah.
Maybe they just might be minor characters in some other time that
But that main guy had to die with his accent. I'm sorry. Like the first, he grew on me. Don't get me in Rogue One.
We're talking about the good guy or the bad guy?
The good guy.
Oh, you mean the Hispanic guy?
Yeah. No, but which is fine. I love seeing that they're bringing
multiracial.
Yes, gotta love that.
Yeah.
But still, I was just not expecting the main character to have such a thick accent.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little whoa. I've how often does
first off it was closed off to you a little bit initially.
It was, but
he warmed. I think he
grew on me over time.
He had a couple of central scenes where he really had to confront her, and you got a sense of who he was, and I thought he was very strong. In that sense. But initially I didn't really thought
it wasn't his. I didn't feel like it was his main language, English. Mm-hmm. But then when he had those emotional scenes, he grew on me for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so
out of a 10, what would you give it though? The Rogue.
Well, okay, now let's establish ground lines for this. So out of a 10, 1 to 10, what's bad? What is a bad movie? Besides 1, obviously, but I mean, is a 5 a bad movie?
A 5 is not a good movie.
5 is like average, or no, it's not. It's less than average.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I'm 6 or 7 is like that's a movie that's pretty good.
No, a 6 is not good either. Like I would say, like a 6 is. Let me think of a 6 on the scale.
Oh, how about Batman vs Superman?
Batman vs Superman. Ooh.
That's tough because
That-
it's uneven. It's so
Well,
uneven.
it's the bad guy.
He ruins the
just
movie.
ruins the
Everything
movie.
else about the movie was
So that movie, I give like a 5.
right because of the bad guy. Yeah,
Because
okay.
of the bad guy.
All right, so
what's his name? I forget.
Lex Luthor, but it's I forget his name too.
He's
never been.
He was in The Social Network.
Yeah, and he was great in that. I mean, he's great when he's cast correctly. But he was
God,
not cast correctly. That's really a casting choice.
Jesse Eisenberg.
So, I mean, the real question, Rogue One versus The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I would say that Rogue One would get about a 7, and Force Awakens, I would have to rate that an 8. How do you feel about that?
Well, I agree with the order. And I think that they were pretty close in terms of they were both quality movies. I'm not sure. I think we still have to refine the rating scale, but I think probably I would probably say 7 or 8 too, actually. So, yeah.
Okay.
no, I actually probably would because if 5 is a flawed movie that has good parts,
Superman and Batman.
right, and 10 is
Even though you
perfect.
rate that higher.
Yeah, and 10 is perfect. Then I think maybe actually a little bit less, 6.5 and 7.5, say. But I mean,
Okay.
I think I think
okay.
it's very close in the range.
All right.
Yeah.
So you disagree with me by 0.5, to clarify.
Yes.